What is up, YouTube? So part two, I'm back out here again. My wife has been on night shift, so I've been coming out early morning to work on this stuff just so I'm not bugging her when she's trying to sleep. The heater motor itself takes all of 3 bolts. It's already unplugged, and then we should be able to get out of the way. This housing, I'm not sure. I can't find anything anywhere on how to get this thing out of here, so we're going to go along on a ride together and see if we can get this thing out of here nicely. I know there is going to be some struggles along the way in here and stuff like that. I might have to actually pop these coolant lines off, which I don't want to do. We're going to see if we can do it without getting the heater core coolant lines off, because the heater core is going to stay in place. We're just going to be mounting up a little bit of a different system just to kind of keep the air flowing, so we can use the stock switches that are in the dash. But anyway, we're going to dive into getting this heater motor out of here and see if we can get the rest of this blower motor housing out of the way. Okay, so blower motor itself is unplugged. Obviously this is just a bunch of wiring. Both of these plugs came off of the obviously blower motor plug. This came off of that little vacuum system that was on the ducting for the condenser. Blower motor itself is easy. Same thing, a few 5/16 bolts. There's one there, there's one up in right there, and then there's one down in the bottom that I can't really show you guys. But then this blower motor should pop out, and we'll have a little bit better idea how to get this whole system out of here. So get this thing here. Just got a little 1/4 inch, same thing that I used yesterday. Nothing to it, super simple. These are all plastic screws, so they back out really quick. Doesn't take a very long time. So you can see the massive threads on these things. That's one. You know, I am noticing too, a lot of the stuff when I kind of dive into this truck, I'm not professional by any means. A lot of things I do are kind of just flying by the seat of my pants, learning as we go. I'm more of a fabricator. The mechanical side of things is a little bit different for me. I spent my whole childhood working on race cars, doing fabrication and fixing and stuff like that, and my dad did the mechanical stuff. But I did learn some of it, so I got a good idea. But there's a lot of things in this truck that just don't make sense. They're like, we had the coolant, I mean, you can't really see it down there, but where is it? Right there. It's hard to see. There's a little spigot right there, and there's one on the back side. That's where the coolant heater, or the throttle body heater was, when the throttle body heater is right there. Along with all of the lines, the spark plug wires were crossed over, which I haven't dealt with because the truck's not running anyway, so there's no point in doing that right now. Things were just kind of laying on top of the intake. This guy here was actually so torqued over because they didn't make enough room for the ignition. I put this in since because the other one crapped out, but it was actually right up against the side of the intake there, and it was just the wiring and the plug was just digging into the intake. You can see, like, this has been sitting on there for a while. There's actually a bit of a, you can hear it, there's a bit of a little lip in there. Just funny things. Spark plug wires, you know, got headers on, and spark plug wires didn't have boots on them, so they were melting through. So it's just a lot of little things. So we're slowly working on it, get it all sorted. They deleted the whole EGR system but left the EGR valve in place, stuff like that. So as we go here, I'm just gonna spend the money on it and get somebody to do it right. Do the little things I can by myself, and then get somebody to build the motor up and swap it for me. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna take the last little bit of hardware out of there, get that blower motor out of there, and we'll continue on with getting this housing out. Guys, so I was actually wrong with the motor. There's actually 4 bolts. See all the crap that came out of this thing. 4 bolts in it, so it sits in there like, basically like this. You can see the holes. So there's one there, one right there, one down there, and then that guy right there. So there's 4 total. Nothing crazy. I couldn't for the life of me get this, whatever I think is a rheostat, is that the proper name for it? I couldn't for the life of me get this stupid thing out, or this plug off. So I decided there's 2 little bolts, pop it out. a little bit easier to get it out while it's not jammed in that little spot down there. And now we're going to work on trying to figure out how we get this whole housing out of here. It does separate. There is a separation in it, and I see there is a screw right there, and I don't know if there's any others, so bear with me here. I'm going to figure out where all these bolts are, and we're going to see if we can get this thing out of here. Okay guys, so I've been struggling with this thing. It is quite the system to get out of here. It's been fighting me the whole way, so I finally did get the main part of the box out. There is a couple bolts, so I'll show you that now. This one up here is obviously the one that we originally took off for the first flap. There is another one right there for this part of the box as well, which now you can see it's got a bit of movement. And there's also 2 bolts. I don't know if I'll be able to see it here or not. Is it going to show me anything? No. So there's 2 bolts on the edge on the left side in there. This I was able to break apart and separate. It does have bolts holding it together. Mine looks like it might have been plastic welded together at some point. I don't really know. But that's what came out. So this is your heater box. Blower motor housing, AC condenser housing, everything that kind of pops through where the hole in the firewall is. So when you see that hole in the firewall, we are going to cover that up. You can see the blend door. See if I can get this to move. That blend door there. In the HVAC system in the truck, and then obviously this is just the recirc side of things, which we're just going to completely cap off and make a different system. So I'm going to take those 2 bolts out on the inside there, and then we got to just pop this wiring down and through into the cab. It's basically, there's a bunch of stuff, vacuum lines and all that kind of stuff that doesn't need to be there, and then we're going to gain all that space in the engine bay and be able to clean it up, make it look real nice. So I'm going to pop those off and show you what it looks like when it's all cleaned up. What is up, YouTube? So sorry, in the last video it was kind of a little bit chopped up, so we're kind of going to go over again everything that went on with removing that AC system, and then the blower motor, and then the heater box, the full heater box, and kind of clearing up some face here so we can make a template at a later date to cover up the holes. For now I'm just going to use some cardboard and just cover it up, and then I'll use that to make a template and then get somebody to cut something out, or get a piece of sheet metal, cut something out and make it all nice, either welded in or use some like rib nuts, nut certs or something like that, and put it in place and get everything all nice and cleaned up on the firewall. Anyway, for now, so everything's out. You'll see in the videos later kind of what I did. It was a bit of a pain. That side's easy. Like I said, it's just 8 bolts. Make sure your lines for your AC are disconnected and everything's been evacuated before you do that. Otherwise, you're gonna have refrigerant everywhere, and it's actually illegal here as well. I'm sure wherever you're at, it's illegal to just dump that stuff into the atmosphere. So make sure that's all evacuated before you do that. Disconnect the 2 lines that come off of the box over there. The cover comes off, that whole piece comes out, and then over here was the blower motor. It was kind of in here with the rest of the heater box. It took 4 bolts and 1 plug, and the blower motor just pops right out. And then this guy, you can see there's actually one bolt right there, and there's another down there. So you might be able to get to him from inside. If you want to take a bunch of stuff out of the way, I just went through the box itself. I just ripped the box apart and went through the box and took it out. If you are trying to replace or remove some of these pieces and replace them, it's easy. As far as both go, it's 8 bolts on that side, and it'd probably take you about half an hour to pop everything out and put the new pieces for the AC back in. Blower motor, even easier, just a few bolts to replace that. And these are the pieces that come out. So this, you can see this kind of sits like that up against the firewall. There's a bolt there that held it up against the firewall, and then these 2, which were in behind, actually in, I don't know where the other part of the box is, but there's another part of the box as well. It was up against the firewall, and yeah, just kind of pops right out. Not really a whole lot to it. Just a few bolts if you are trying to replace it. Again, easy enough. 1 plug. Take the blower motor out, get rid of all this. So that's everything that came out of there. all the stuff, all your AC components, blower motor, everything comes out. It fills this massive area here. What I am going to do, once I'm going to cover this back up, I'm debating trying to use the original heater cord that's there and leaving this hooked up, and putting something in here that will just blow through, or moving these completely, kind of cleaning up this whole side, making it really nice, so I can put a nice fender well in there and clean everything up. But for now, everything is all apart, and I'm just going to throw some cardboard on there, and we'll look in the next video at getting a template made up, and then get some sheet metal in there that we can cover all the holes up and stuff like that for now. Again, if you have any questions or anything like that, please do comment. I was a little bit flustered with the last video. The dogs decided to run up that hill way up there, take off, chasing after ascent or just going exploring. And I was cold and a little bit unhappy, so I just got it done. I didn't want to bring the camera back out, so I finished the rest of it off. And yeah, and today we're outside and gonna cover everything up. But until next time, if you like the videos, subscribe, comment, share, all that fun stuff. Thanks very much.